my shirt. Thanks. All right, here we go. It's episode. I like your shirt too. It's so sweet you said that. My shirt for listen. I have Darwin on my shirt, and you have Krampus. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 6 of Eat, Drink, and Be Scary. We are eating really good kebabs that Tonya made. And they're really, really, really good. We also had some fried rice, which I don't know how that's connected. And we're drinking Bloody Marys. Mm-hmm. They're really good. They're really good Bloody Marys. Tonya made those too.
Thank you, buddy.
We're not.
You're welcome.
We sound a little incapable
because we're all busy eating and drinking.
But yeah,
it's the first part of the podcast: eat and drink.
And today we're going to be talking about. I just realized I don't have a napkin. I'm going to get it. Don't worry, I'll get it. No. Just sit. I'll get my own napkin. Oh, thanks. You handed it to me. All right. So today we're going to be talking about something. This is one we've been trying to do for a little while. Tarot cards, and we're a little excited about it. I think we're a lot excited. This has been one that we've wanted to do for like the first 5 episodes. Let's talk about this. But I think, and we're going to do a card reading on the show.
It's not going to be a traditional tarot card reading, though. It's going to be the Edward Gorey Fant Todd pack. And it's very different than any other type of tarot card reading you'll ever see or hear about.
Okay, cool. So why don't you real quick, Ryan?
Okay.
Why don't you give us the history of
tarot in general?
Tarot cards. Because I know we discussed this earlier, and we both have a little different idea, probably. Mm-hmm. Or I know there's... Why don't you explain where you think they came from? Give us some history. Give us, like, the folklore, and give us the what's known. Go.
Well, the folklore behind tarot cards is more... they're a divinatory tool. And the idea behind them is each card has a certain image on it that you can either... know what the card image means, like for example the 6 of Wands, or you can actually read them based on what the images do in a line in the reading compared to the other cards around it. So that's kind of what they're used for, but their history was a lot different from that. I think that primarily if you start with the idea of playing cards in general and using those to tell fortunes, it initially started out as a game. From what I was taught, playing cards originated in Asia, and over time they became more popular in the European countries, and from there that's when they started gaining popularity as a playing game that people thought that they could turn into betting and using monetary value to try to, have fun with these cards. And then you were talking about them from Italy or France?
So the research that I came up with is that they were a card game that was played during the Renaissance. And they were generally rich people had them. It was bridge. It was the same game where bridge came from, and you had cards made specifically for you, but they had, of course, the same characters on them. And
as in, like death and
all that stuff on there.
Okay.
But there's a Pope card, and the Pope at the time said, "Hey, I don't like it when you have a card with me," so he banned them. And at that time, they went from northern Italy and kind of started popping up again in France during a certain time. And they started getting popularity. As they rose in popularity, they were actually being mass-produced. And then there was Eliphas Levi. I hope I'm saying his name right. Elvis Levi. Elvis Levi. And he found a way to... Not only, he wrote a book about them. In the book, he really started doing his best to connect them to Egyptian folklore or just characters themselves. And that's where people thought, with a lot of their magic and things like that. And he himself, he was an occult author, and he was a magician, and so he just found a way just to... Hey, everybody, look at this. These cards are magical, and they go all the way back to Egypt, and even though that there was no connection whatsoever.
It just says here that the oldest surviving set is known as the Visconti Sforza deck. It was created for the Duke of Milan's family around 1440. So
okay. So that's that time. That's right. And he... At that point, they started getting really popular, and of course, as all the gypsies were heading through France and all that area, And they said, these are cool. Why don't we use them to, since they're magical, let's use them to tell fortunes and get gold and silver and all that good stuff. And that's what happened. And that's how they came to be.
So I've read something different, honestly. I read something about a man named Jean-Baptiste Alliette, who later in his life changed his last name and went by a pseudonym of Atalia. And he was a spiritualist, I guess, in Italy. And he went ahead and was the first person to publicize it as being an esoteric way of looking at tarot cards, whereas tarot cards, like in the 1400s, I think, were more of playing cards. And so this man wrote a book and was the first one to kind of capitalize on the whole idea that these can be esoteric, and like you were saying, tying them to the four. You've got the four different elements. You've got
the four seasons,
right? All sorts of stuff. And he started to put all of the different meanings to the cards in an esoteric way. And it's his meanings, this Atalia guy, that a lot of these decks have kind of maintained the meanings of the cards since. So he's kind of the first person to put that out there in a book. And then I think he's the actual first person to make a deck that was meant to be just an esoteric deck for divination and not just for like playing cards.
Well, I think what's interesting about tarot in general is every person who reads it can come up with a different explanation for it. And I think it really depends on, if we talked about what you were talking about earlier, the Romanians and the Gypsies and trying to make money, they saw these people who were looking for questions and they were basically doing cold reading and telling them what they wanted to hear based off what the cards. That way it gave them a little bit of leniency for, yes, this is absolutely correct, or no, this is wrong. And over time, they kind of fine-tuned the process and started writing books about what the cards meant and how they worked. And I think that's what gave rise to the basic modern-day tarot cards that we know it now.
Which is kind of just like a deck of cards. Sorry, I'm still eating this really yummy this kebab. It's really, really good.
Meaty.
I mean, it's okay. So there's a standard deck of cards. I know we're going to talk about your deck in a second.
Yep.
Standard deck of cards has 78 cards. And they're essentially lined up, 52 of them are lined up exactly like a deck of cards.
Well,
You got four suits.
well, no, it's 56 instead of 52.
Oh.
And in the 78 card deck.
Well, the original playing cards, didn't they have 4 jokers in them? Playing cards deck, so there's 52 plus the 4 jokers.
Oh, maybe that's it.
Coming up to 56 total.
Like in this room, 4 jokers. Okay, so that could be it. But they're based off that, and then of course they have the other cards like the Death and
Fool and the Hermit and Hangman and
the Fawns. I don't know. I don't have memorized that much.
the Thumb of Voltron.
Although yes, Tonya and I have been last week. She did a couple readings with me, which was fun.
You did the readings for Bill?
Yeah.
How'd they come out?
I'm going to be a millionaire next month, just so you know. Here's the really cool thing about it, though. So there's 78 cards in this deck, and I kept pulling the same. What was it? There was the Knight of Cups, but there was also there was another one. There was a girl. There was a girl with cups. Queen of Cups.
The 2 girls in 1 cup card.
That's the one.
Card.
That's the one. And then we got yogurt.
I don't know. I'll have to look. I can't remember.
I got another card. I just kept pulling. I thought, what are the odds that I keep getting these cards, these same cards over and over?
Yeah, because we shuffled the deck several times in between each one, and he pulled 2 of the same cards 3 times in a row.
Really?
Yeah. So one of them was the King of Cups, and let's see. The other
I feel like
one
you should go play poker somewhere then.
Right?
Or 21 or something.
See, but that's the thing. Were they facing the right way? Were they upside down? Were they facing away from you? Because they all mean different things in traditional tarot.
They do mean different things, and sometimes they were right side up, sometimes they were upside down. But
Well,
out of
Bill's
78,
moody,
no,
so
yeah.
I am.
So
I'm card.
it was the Hierophant.
the Hierophant?
Yeah, the Hierophant.
A huge elephant.
Yes,
Sorry.
that one.
That's really racist. Thank God you're Asian.
I'm not white. It's okay.
Okay, so now knowing that we have that deck of cards, and that's called the weight deck. What is that deck called?
It's the
Rider-Waite.
the Rider-Waite deck.
That's a really common one. It's a really good one for beginners who want to learn tarot with bright colored images and It's a pretty well put together deck.
So simpletons like us is exactly what you're saying.
No, that's not what
With
I'm
little,
saying.
they're just really easy. They have simple instructions.
It's pretty and it keeps
Look
their
at all the
attention.
colors. Wow.
Yeah, just for a little bit of SJW here in the tarot world, it's actually the Rider-Waite Smith deck now. A lot of people are starting to include the lady who was the artist, so most people would just...
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, most people would just put it down that she was the artist that was contacted, but they were actually all in the same group, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, which was all actually kind of an offshoot of the Freemasons. So they were the occultic group that came out of the Freemasons around in the 19th and 20th century. So she was into that. She was actually into the autotomic drawing before it was a really big thing. And so that's kind of why he had contracted her, considering that, she could get it all from the other side anyway.
Oh, so they kind of did it kind of as you're a medium, you believe in this, let's kind of put that art.
Hey, we're in the same group. You're supposed to be able to be a good artist, and, you talk to somebody else. She would sit and channel and then draw.
You talk to ghosts.
Doing it.
I
Yeah.
talk to ghosts. Say we got a thing going on. Let's.
Yeah,
Interesting.
You, me, whoever else wants to show up.
So she's the one that drew like the art of the deck. That
Right, she's the artist of the deck.
and that's the standard because even when I started looking at print, just like hey, get in a large print like as a poster. It was always that artwork. It always seems to be that.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that, and I'm pretty fascinated by it. And one of the first things that Tonya said, she said, "Look at that card and see how it makes you feel and what you see." And I did see some kind of interesting things in the artwork. I thought it was just really cool. I thought it's done really well. It's definitely a unique style, but it's.
Well, what's unique about tarot cards is there are so many different styles and different types, and there are some that have less cards, there are some that have more cards than the traditional, and that's why people feel a kinship to a lot of these cards is because they can relate to certain types of artwork, like what you're saying, and that oftentimes what makes them a very personal divination tool for these people who are out giving readings and whatnot.
So now let's go into that real quick. You give readings.
I do.
And you do how many a week? Like 5-6 a week? How many do you do?
Yeah, usually.
So when people come into you and they ask for a reading,
Mm-hmm.
are they getting a reading? Because I have a friend. Tonya and I have a friend that gets a reading through you.
Right.
And of course she's very wise. I respect her. She's a really cool girl, and I know why she does it. So I'm just curious why. What are the people reasons, and what are the reactions you get when you do this?
So what I always see is people come in for readings, and they always know the answers that they are asking the questions for, but they don't want to admit them to themselves. So when the way I read cards is I don't use tarot deck, I use playing cards. In each suit, in each number, in each correlation between the two produces different information. Like, for example, I'll use numerology for the number 4 being grounding, and the spades would be change. So if you have a 4 of spades in your reading, what that means is there's going to be a change in your fundamental grounding or your confidence about whatever situation that you're dealing with. So to answer your question, these people come in looking for answers about a particular part of their life or their future, or just trying to get information that I feel they just need some proof to themselves that this is what's going on in my life. Most of the reactions are very emotional. I probably, out of 10 people, 8 of them will cry or get upset or become happy in some way. I mean, it's not just neat. You just told me some stuff about cards. Right? I mean, it's true though. I mean,
I just got a full house. Thanks. Yay. So happy.
Yeah, it's that reminds me of that joke. I think it's Robin Williams that said that he was playing poker with tarot cards and got a full house and 4 people died. I thought that was so funny. But I mean, you can even ask Tom. I've given him a reading.
Yeah.
I've given Tonya a reading, and I don't like. I mean, it's one of those things that I'm not going to be like, I need to stop you and give you a reading immediately. These people come to me and I talk to them, and that's it. I don't claim to have any supernatural power. They're the ones that shuffle the cards. They're the one that cuts the cards. I just read what the cards happen to say once it lines up.
Has there anybody ever been upset?
Yeah, I just said.
No, I mean like angry, like really like mad.
So I don't like giving couples readings because it seems like every time I do, one of them gets mad and tries to leave, and I'm like, well, this is pointless. So I try to stay away from that. But yeah,
What happens?
So the last time I gave a couples reading, these two people came in and they were talking about their work and their business together, and basically,
I'm sorry, we're out of time.
No whammies.
basically, one of them found out the other one was not acting in a relationship manner.
I like how you put that.
And they end up admitting it in the reading, and I'm like, holy crap. Like, I would have just been like, those cards are wrong. And instead they admitted it, and I was just sitting there staring at them, going, do I keep going, or do you guys go someplace else?
This is like Maury Povich.
It was, yeah. Yeah. I needed a big bald guy to keep them separated.
Cards say you are not the father.
Hey, so after the last episode, or the last one we did, you did a card reading for Tonya.
Yeah, I did.
And she was actually pretty fascinated by it. She had a lot of questions. And so we decided we were going to do another one
Yeah.
on today's show. And you're going to do it. So explain your deck.
Well, I'm not using my typical deck. This is the Edward Gorey deck. Edward Gorey was a very eccentric artist, and he basically lived alone with a series of cats. And you can look him up. He's a very interesting man. But his deck is all like his personality. It's very dark. It's very twisted. There's nothing positive in this deck whatsoever.
Can you give us an example?
Yeah, for example.
Tom, reach in and grab a card.
Okay. What would traditionally be positive in a deck, Ryan? Give us an example of what would be in a traditional deck that might be positive versus what you'd find in this one.
Well, the sun, for example, in a typical tarot deck relates to
Ooh, these are slippery. Hold on.
relates to growth and positivity and healing and all the good stuff that
Should I
may
look?
be happening to you in life. So you drew the stones.
Oh, yeah, I love that band.
So what this looks like are three monoliths.
Yeah, it almost looks like the Black Flag logo. Interesting enough that you say
So-
that.
I think this one's Keith Richards. What do you think?
He's too tall.
Oh, that must be Mick Jagger then.
Wow. So the stones represents March, a loss of teeth, a forged letter, paralysis,
Ooh.
false arrest, failing sickness, evil communication.
Failing sickness.
Yep. Evil communication, a sudden affliction, anemia, misconstruction, a disastrous duty.
You said duty.
I did.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised nobody's giggled at deck yet.
Or estrangement. So as you can see, these are all positive things that you want to strive for in life.
Am I going to die?
Probably.
Is Mick Jagger going to die? Probably not, I think.
Don't say that, man. He just went through some heart stuff. He just went
That's
through
true.
like heart surgery.
Well, he's good for another 150 years.
That's true.
So the whole point of this deck, let me read it to you here. So the idea is you take this deck and you throw all the cards up in the air, and they land face down and face up, obviously. And then the person who's getting the reading picks 3 to 5 of the cards that are face up, and then from that you do their reading. So it's very, very non-traditional. And
Wouldn't you think it'd be picking the cards that were face down?
no,
I mean, because if you're picking the cards that are face up, doesn't that make it a partial reading?
well, not
I
really.
think
Well,
it's-
that's the
if
idea.
it's face up, then it's the cards that are revealing themselves to
Right,
you.
and you want to be able to look at them and see what images you feel connected with.
I see.
If it was this all face down, you'd be like just blindly picking anything you
Pick
want.
a card, any card.
I gotta ask a question real quick. Do you think there's just people that, first of all, think they can control this in a situation? They go, "Oh, well, if I grab this card, I know what this means, and that means good things will happen." And at the same time, do you think that there are people that plan their week? I'm sure there actually there's probably dumb questions. I'm sure there are, but like if you go to somebody and somebody, it says like your horoscope. Essentially, it says like good time to do business this week. Good time to call your mom and pet a cat. Like these are things that'll say like, and people go, my horoscope told me to do this. Do you think people say, oh, my tarot card told me to do this?
Oh yeah, I hear about that all the time.
Yeah, somebody told me that the perfect time to get a tarot card reading is when because they're not going to like tell your future. But what they are going to do is illuminate all of the choices and all the aspects of the different choices ahead of you. Is that more correct, Ryan? Don't you think?
Okay.
It's
There's
a
couple,
different perception to look at the things ahead of you.
You know, there are some people that think that if you get a reading done on your birthday, it's going to be more potent than if you don't. Personally, I think it's just an everyday thing. That if you want a reading, that's fine. But a lot of people are shuffling a deck and pulling a card kind of like a daily calendar thing, where whatever card they pull is how their day's going to be. So if it's the Sun, they're going to be like, oh, I've got a great day coming ahead of me. Or if it's the Hermit, they're going to be like, great, I'm going to be homeless by the end of the week. So it just really depends on their perspective and what they see from the card itself.
Okay, so now going back with what you said, when you threw your cards up in the air and you wave them like you just don't care, and they hit the ground, and then what happens when I say, oh, I know that's a good card, I'm going to pick it?
Well, that's the thing. If you are familiar with the deck, you're going to have a little bit of insight. But the idea is it's not up to you for which cards come up, right? Now, what I mean by that is you may know all the cards, and you may want something positive, but you don't necessarily mean that that's the card that's going to end up facing you when you are throwing them.
So it would probably be good to note right here that we're talking about throwing these cards up and having some face up and then selecting a few of those, but that's not the way that most traditional tarot is done.
Oh, no, not at all. This is a 20-card deck, and the idea is it's more satire than anything, based off of Edward Gorey's perspective and his drawings, and just it's meant to be funny,
right?
Not meant to tell you what's actually going to happen in your life.
Yeah, whereas with a traditional RWS, you'd have to lay them out in a certain way. The way they are positioned makes a difference.
Yeah, those are called spreads. Some people have different spreads for different types of readings, like a 3-card spread or a 5-card spread or early morning, whatever, right? There was a joke in there that I'm not going to touch, but but
I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
I prefer the afternoon spread.
There we go.
Thank you.
Gonna find me a tarot card and hold it tight. Oh, sorry.
It's like a just after a cigarette, right? I'll get the tarot cards out.
Yeah. But that's why I like using the traditional playing cards, too, because there are so many different options where, like, for example, you may pull the Ace of Spades and then the Ace of Hearts and be like, oh, I have a change in my relationship coming. And then the next card could be bad, and you'd be like, well, shit. Right? So it's just all about, there are so many different patterns and so many correlations between the suits and the numbers and the location of the spread. That's why I like doing it. It's a more accurate reading, and it's also one of those things you never really know what's going to come from it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, should we do one?
Sure. Who wants to do the reading?
So we're going to do it right over here. We're going to take it over. In fact, hold on a second. So we'll bring your mic over. We're going to move over.
Well, I can sit here. If Tanya's going to do it, all she's got to do is shuffle these and throw them up
Toss
in the
them
air.
in the air.
Oh, okay.
Give it a good shuffle, or give it a good toss.
Then I don't have to move I was moving my mic.
And then I'll just read
They're
the...
slippery, so
Yeah.
really make it rain.
Okay, so Tom, why don't you give a play-by-play of what's going on right now?
She's shuffling on her thigh quite skillfully.
she
One
dropped
falls to the
It's
ground.
face
It's
down.
face down.
Nope,
No,
leave it.
don't touch
Leave
it.
it.
You can't. It has not revealed itself.
It has not revealed itself.
Okay.
So I actually found a meme this morning because I experienced this also today. Because this morning I was like, oh, we're going to do the tarot reading. I'll just draw myself a card. And one accidentally fell out. So I wondered, is this card telling me a message, or am I just bad at shuffling?
Maybe it's the first card that your energy is dispelled. That's the for sure not.
But I couldn't tell because I really did do a really bad shuffle, and it just kind of flew out.
Full disclosure, these are odd-sized cards. So it's not like they're just regular playing cards.
Well, it's like that text that we sent earlier, too, of the 5 of Wands, where...
The 5 of Wands?
It's got... the 5 of Wands? It's got 5 people holding sticks in the air, and I put underneath it, we're having trouble setting up the tent again.
Which it actually does very much look like that.
Yeah, we'll put that on the Facebook.
So now they just go?
Yeah, just throw them up in the air.
Right, and you've got, I don't know, so they're in a 10-foot
So
circle.
how
We've
was
got
her
maybe
how was her
7 or
execution
8
on this? She
face
actually
up.
flung them up. Some hit me even.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of face-up cards. I'm actually surprised at how little you have to choose from.
There's
There's maybe
drive-by
7.
carding.
Yeah, so...
Oh yeah, most of them. That's odd. Most of them are the ones all
Most
by
of them
me
are
are all
face
down
down.
to the ground.
I think you can probably separate the two.
Yeah, how's that work?
Yeah,
Okay,
just-
so here's a
just-
question that we have right now. There's 2 cards.
Yeah, they're both up.
Yeah, one's hiding the other, so
So
now
just-
she's moved it.
Just pick whichever 5 you want, and then we'll just go from there.
All right, we've got the feather, the bottle,
No.
what the heck?
These are the 5 that
Ecorche?
Okay.
She already picked her 5.
So tell
those
me,
are your 5. Okay.
tell me the first one of the 5.
Here, do you want to go back to your?
This one is the child. It's a little skeleton child with a little what appears to be a dog toy on a string.
On a skateboard.
Okay,
skateboard.
so it's September, sexual inadequacy, hallucinations, breakage, loss of youth, rust, obstacle, forced restraint, aberrations, and crawling sickness.
That was definitely her September.
Yep.
You're
Next.
supposed to tell. Next is the ladder.
Ooh, that one's a bad one.
Ooh.
All right, let's go to the ladder here.
I wouldn't have gotten anything that you just said from looking at the child card.
Well, that's why.
Yeah, that's September. And rust.
Okay, the ladder is Tuesday, slander, reversals, creeping sickness, insomnia, loss of hair, detention, theft, jealousy, an accident in a restaurant. That's pretty much it.
Accident.
I don't
And
know.
it's like everything else. Like is these vague words that could mean anything. It's like slander. You're like slander. Oh my god, you're thinking. But accident in a restaurant is very
And loss of hair. Like, that makes
loss
me,
of
like,
hair.
really not want to eat anything anymore.
Yeah.
What's the next one?
So this was actually the very first card that I picked up, and it's the middle of mine, and it looks like a little person made of bread or stones, and there's no words.
Oh, it's odd. Yeah,
That's
there's
the
no art.
effigy. August, a sexual problem, assailed honor, unpleasant secrets,
So many sexual
broken
problems.
hopes, rashness. Rashness is a sexual problem. Yaws.
Rashes or rashness?
Yeah, exactly.
Either.
Clouded mentality, abrasions. Abrasions can be a sexual problem too. Financial loss in an accident in a stadium.
Yeah, that
Do
could be
not
that's
eat at
sexual.
a restaurant in a stadium.
That's
On a Tuesday in August or September.
Okay.
losing money at a stadium. That could be sexual too.
Oh, it could.
Yeah.
The next one is the yellow bird.
Oh, that one's bad.
Oh, okay. Well, you're gonna die.
That one's really bad, though. Because I pull that one all the time. The Yellow Bird is Saturday. True love thrown away. Peak. Foot trouble. Mania. An accident on a ladder. Bone disease. Poison. An unforeseen complication. And catastrophe.
Why wouldn't the accident on a ladder be the one that has the ladder on it? That seems like
Because, I don't know. What's the last one?
Is it then significant that she has a ladder and catastrophe?
Probably. But if you've noticed, she's had an accident in all 4 of her cards.
Yes. So basically,
You're screwed, lady.
What's the
well, a
last
little
one?
bit. The last one is the urn.
The death.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
the death. I like you throw the death urn on it. She says urn. You're like, oh, the death
What else do
urn.
you put urns in? We'll put it in urns. What else?
Candy? I don't know. You
Incense.
can put anything you want.
Oh, I want that. I want an urn
An
full
urn
of
that
candy.
burns.
I would just keep.
Oh,
I
you
would
should
keep
have an urn
flour
for
or
No one
sugar
would-
in my
no
urn
one would
and then
take
just
it.
dump it in my coffee.
You're good candy too. Not like the hard mints.
Friday, a sexual dilemma, a forged invitation, a broken heart, mumbling sickness, broken communications, miscalculation, injustice, interference, a low fever, or scales.
So I'm having a lot of sexual problems, I've noticed.
In a restaurant, probably.
And accidents.
Hand me those.
And it
Yeah.
seems like the fall is not your time of year.
So basically, just don't have sex or go
On
anywhere.
a Tuesday, a Friday, or a Saturday. Or all
In-
of August or September.
In stadiums
Exactly.
or restaurants.
Exactly.
Especially near ladders.
And then I should be fine.
Because you'll end in rashes or abrasions.
Yes.
Okay, so these cards now. so are you saying right now these cards are predicting future, or they're saying what your past was?
I think that these cards are just made to be fun. But if you were doing a typical reading, usually there would be some sort of connotation to time. That's why there's Tuesday. That's why there's August. Right now we're in April, so if it was March, it would be past. If it was or August or September, it's going to be in the future.
So she did have August and September. So you told her future just now?
Probably, yes.
Wow. you're going to have a sucky sexual fall. That's really...
So, gentlemen, until then, until August and September.
I'm glad that October and Halloween are free for you, though. I
Yes.
mean, like, good for you.
yeah,
Maybe that is where it all begins.
Yeah, maybe you have to dress up like somebody else and escape your problems from the tarot cards.
Yes, exactly.
That was horrible.
I'm sorry.
You have to escape your problems by being someone else.
Well, you know, I mean, like, I'm not giving out great life advice. You can go to somebody else for that.
So that was one very...
Consult the tarot card
That was
reader.
one type of reading. But tell me, like, when I did yours, how did you feel about it?
You know, honestly, because I was pretty skeptical about it, and I just asked you because we were killing time for the most part. But I was coming out of a really bad relationship, and I was wanting that to work. So I was kind of trying to lead Ryan in all of the cards he was going to read to me. But what did we do? We selected cards that felt warm to me, right? We played with an actual 52 card deck of playing cards. He had me select ones that were warm.
Because the warmth represents priority.
Now, when you say, explain that, you mean warmth, like they gave you a warm feeling?
Like
Or
I'd pass
to the
my
touch?
hands over the card at about a half inch, 3/4 inch over each of the cards as they're kind of fanned out. I think he'd found out maybe 5 or 6, and
In a piles, yeah.
and I'd pass over one of those cards, and that 5 or 6 would feel, I don't know, it's odd. You perceive something out of a card that you don't feel out of the other cards, and so you okay that one. And so you repeat this process, and he pretty much told me exactly what I didn't want to hear in that whole reading, that this girl is never going to be the one. It's going to be the next girl, and it doesn't really matter what I try to do to make that happen. So we, at the time, joked about having, just somebody come over and making it the next girl and seeing if this would work out. Because, I mean, if tarot cards are going to be accurate, we can make that timeline right now and find out. But as it turned out, it was 2.5 years later or so, 3 years later, I ended up meeting my wife after lots of misconnections and being single and not by choice. So it did turn out to be pretty accurate the way it all came into being, I guess. But I ended up pretty bemused. I can't explain all of it. I'm pretty skeptical still, but and we've had one since. My wife and I have since had one with Ryan, and it turned out to be pretty accurate too.
So I have a question, and I am also extremely skeptical and like to go about things in a kind of scientific approach, where I would love to do another reading with the exact same question to see what the result would be.
Okay.
Because, I mean...
You'd expect the same result twice.
Exactly.
Well, not necessarily. What you
Or-
would get is you'd get the same overall answer, but the direction, the way it gets there would be different, possibly.
Right. But I guess it's just... If it's true, I want to prove it, kind of type thing. Like, if I see aliens, I want to make sure they're aliens, not just, oh, I had a bug in my eye.
So based on my research, that's the whole part of the esoteric part of the tarot cards, right? Is that it changes. Every
Right.
time you do a reading for somebody based on what the question's about, based on the energy that they bring to the table, because it's a reflection of them.
Right. So that's the thing. Like, if you would do one reading and ask the same question and then do one immediately after, it's more likely that they'd be correct than if you do one now and then 2 months down the road you ask the same question and go, holy crap.
Yeah, because there's been times, change of feelings, times of, like, just change of how you're thinking about
Yep.
whatever question you had. So I see your point of just... but I almost do feel like your results could even be skewed off of your first or off of your second reading because you were now
Well,
emotionally swayed because of your first reading.
Perhaps the best way to do it then would to have 2 people give you a card reading, or 3 or 4,
Oh yeah, like
with the same
simultaneously.
question and see if you get the same response.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it happens and one of them or 2 of them or all of them are right, you can go, holy crap.
I want to
You
do
know?
one completely sloshed. I wonder see if that'd make a difference.
Well, here's another thing.
That's just an excuse for you to get drunk, Tom.
I mean, like, it's not like I need another one, but let's do it.
But here's another thing too. You can think of it this way. Right now you're given a direction of causality where are the cards telling me the future when you could be thinking of it as it, because I know this, is it self-fulfilling prophecy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the kind of thing. That's why when I do my card readings, I'm not like most people where I say, don't talk at all. Let me just read the cards. I want to talk with you the whole time. We engaged the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
If you had a question, I explained it, right? And we talked about what these cards mean in relationship to the question we're doing at the time. So it's one of those things where I don't try to make you focus on one giant picture. It's several different steps that we can take together in order to get the best possible outcome for you. And by best possible, I mean more accurate, because sometimes those readings are not good, like what Tom said.
Well, yeah, and mine definitely changed. My first one was totally about the future. I asked about the future, and the second one was totally about the present and like how is this existing now, and what should I know going forward? And I got tailored answers.
Yeah. So it's pretty interesting.
So with that, I mean, I don't think there's any harm in them.
No,
I don't think there's any harm. I think if somebody's digging a little too deep and they're planning their life around these, then they're just going to find something else just to, they're going to get a Ouija board, they're going to go see a psychic. I mean,
they've been
nothing's gonna
assigned
stop them.
mysticism.
Yeah.
I mean, it was given to them. You can look up the history of the tarot cards, and they were around before they had any kind of, soothsaying quality to them.
Well, the idea is what we talked about earlier, right? If you see an image and you have a spiritual connotation to that image, you're going to relate it to yourself or to the situation you're in because you want to find meaning in the correlation of, like, the synchronicity between you and whatever you're doing. Like you pulling the card just to see what it was going to say, right? A lot of people do that because they want to know how their day's going to go or how their week's going to go.
And do you think that that's wise? Do you think that there's any sort of truth behind them doing that? Do you think that let's just say somebody goes, hey, do you think it's a good idea before I start my day that I pull a card out?
Well, I think within reason. Because if you pull a card and it says that you're going to have a great day and then you don't, what's the problem? Did you do something wrong that changed your fate between putting on your socks? Or did you just pull a random card, just happen to read it and, misinterpret what it says?
And how did you read it? And did you misinterpret it? I mean, do you have to go with the traditional thing of I'm just going to look at this card and interpret what's on the card says to me? Right. Or am I going to say, hey, this card in this fashion laid this way is supposed to mean this?
A perfect example. Why don't you pull a card real quick from your deck, and then we'll let Tom say what he sees from it, and then what Bill sees from it, and then you can read what it actually means.
One of the things about, you could say, hey, I pulled a card today, and it says it's going to be a really, really great day. So then you throw caution to the wind, and you do a bunch of coke, and you drive to work, and you get in an accident, and you're like, crap, now I'm having a bad day. But the reality is, maybe you only did the coke before you went to work because you thought you were going to have a great day, and you want to make it more or greater.
Then you take some more after the card.
You ruined it. That's why you should know the future.
Back on top, baby.
Yeah, but I don't think everyone who's going to have a good day is going to decide, let's take coke before we go to work.
Well, yeah.
No, not everyone.
There's not a coke card in the tarot deck?
Yeah, it's called the Fool.
You use the tarot card to cut up your coke.
Oh, there you go. Right.
Wow, guys. This took a dark turn.
All right,
so pull a card. Come on.
I might edit that out. All right, here we go. Tanya's pulling out a card.
What do you got here?
I pulled the Six of Pentacles upside down.
Ooh la la.
I wouldn't even worry about it upside down. Right now,
Right.
we're just going to go off of what they see and what they can interpret from the card.
Okay.
Okay, so I see a man who is obviously richer than two guys who are on their knees. There's a castle in the background. He's weighing out with a traditional scale, but he's only given to one. So I'm not sure.
So he's choosing favorites. Huh?
He's choosing a favorite. Obviously, it doesn't look like he's the king from this castle, but he's somebody who's sent out to give maybe the will of somebody else, and that I don't know. There's something in the coat of this guy who's in the blue kneeling. I don't know. It's odd. I don't know. What are you going to think, Bill? To me, it seems like somebody who already has something in his pocket is getting looked over.
So here's the card shows. It's a gentleman. He's wearing a red robe. He has like a Columbus hat on. He's throwing 4 chunks of something, almost look like D&D dice, down at a guy who's like that looks like he's actually like in a fortune cookie. If you look at it,
yeah, he's pretty.
He looks like he's in a fortune cookie. And then there's another guy, and he's in like Linus's blanket from Charlie Brown, but there's like a patch on it, like a red patch.
It looks like he's coming out of a pocket.
But he's got weird. He actually looks like Tintin.
Okay, so
That guy looks like he's in pain to me too.
But he looks like from the cartoon Tintin. So then the other guy, but he's holding a scale. Now the guy standing, the guy with the Magellan hat on, the Columbus hat on, and he has a scale. And first of all, he's ignoring one guy, giving some to the other, and I don't know what he's giving. But
overall, what do you feel from the card? Do you?
I feel that there's somebody just looking down at people like, yeah, whatever, here you go.
So you're saying
Giving
that,
crumbs. He's just giving crumbs. Literally, he's giving crumbs to somebody.
So you're saying that it's a person who's looking down on somebody else and kind of just appearing like he gives a crap, but doesn't really.
I don't know why are these two guys in. They look like Linus's blanket and a fortune cookie. Like they're like on the ground, like wrapped up, like they were having a sleepover. You know what really probably happened? These guys are having a sleepover. He walks out, taking his scale for a walk, and he's like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" Like,
Well, you
"Oh,
got to stay balanced.
hey, we
Oh
do." And then he walks out. He's like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" They're like, "Oh, we're having a camp out." And he goes, "Here, can you throw this away for me?" And he gives them some things, and he walks off. That's what I think.
So you're saying that some guy gave a homeless fortune cookie trash.
Hey, these are in my pocket. I know there's not a garbage around here. Can you throw these away for me? I don't know what he's giving, but he's dropping. And look at the way his hand is. He's got his 2 fingers in, 2 fingers out. That's not a way to drop things. It's like he's holding something.
It's like a sprinkle.
I think
Okay. What do you think?
Honestly, to me, having seen the card, now thinking about it, somebody's got something in his pocket, and that person's being overlooked for some kind of distribution. So it being upside down, I'm thinking that had it been right side out, it might have been you're getting favored on a distribution of some kind. But now that it's upside down, I'm guessing that maybe she's missing out on it.
Okay, so without it being upside down or right side up, because we're just going off the image itself,
Distribution.
right?
Favoritism. That's what I get out of that card.
So neither one of you said abundance, generosity, the fact that someone is giving something to somebody
No,
else.
because the
Charity,
scale's level now. He's
sharing.
giving, and the scale's at a level meter now. So he was only giving extra, and that other guy is totally left in. He's left out.
So as you can see here, your meaning is completely different from what the card is trying to tell you, versus whatever Bill said.
Well, but you know what the card means.
Yes.
You know what it means, right? It's that the card it's financial loss and poverty, and that you've hit
If
hard
it's
times.
reversed,
Is it?
Well,
No, that's not. That's upright.
So, well,
the Six of Pentacles.
Oh, I looked up the 5. I looked up the 5. I'm sorry for everybody in advance. I looked up the wrong card.
So this is the site that I've been using to kind of teach myself. This is labyrinthos.co, and the upright meaning was the Six of Pentacles means that you are in a position where you have a good relationship with your income. Like the main figure in the card, the amount of money that you bring in and your expenses are balanced well, and you are fortunate enough to not have any stress. You're also grateful for all that you own and can happily share your wealth with others. As you can tell from the imagery in the card, which you guys obviously didn't get, the Six of Pentacles can be about charity. You can either be the man giving away the money to the needy or a beggar gratefully receiving what you need from a wealthy donor. If the card is showing that you are a giver, you've built up wealth and you are now able to help others with financial assistance. You may live long enough in the darkness of the Five of Pentacles to be able to see the light. You are thinking about giving to charities or helping someone who could need your support and is in the same position as you were before. The Six of Pentacles does not have to be about material gifts or money. It can also mean your time and presence. If the card is showing that you are one of the beggars, you could be receiving someone else's charity. This could help you recover, so take help. You'll be able to repay the kindness of others in the future. You may also be able to find ways to become self-sufficient in the future, and despite the situation, you should be mindful that you should not become desperate or submissive during this time.
So how would you be the beggar and not the What makes that distinction?
Well, it depends if you're the one begging for money or not. Or
I
if
guess
you're giving
that's-
it away. I
you
mean,
should know that, right?
That's
Yeah,
really
exactly.
it. Like
you got $5,
it
Bill.
depends. When the last time money is exchanged with you and a friend, were you borrowing it or
giving
it? There's your question. Now, I will say real quick.
Well, are you Linus or the fortune cookie?
Yeah, I don't know. They don't look really excited beginning. Actually, there's no smiling going on. So he's not. He doesn't have the
Well,
look
yeah,
of
because
like
the guy's like, I have to pay this back with interest.
probably.
Yeah.
Well, he could be like tax.
Maybe that's what that red slip is. That other guy is late already.
It's an IOU. It's the IOU on the blanket.
That's it.
It's the deed to his cow. I'm sorry. Here it is.
And we don't even know what he's giving him. I mean, there's 4 little things on here.
I would assume it's coins and not
Maybe they're.
dice or trash. That's just me.
It's a legitimate
Does anyone have change for a button?
Yeah. I don't know. You guys will have to look this up and see.
So where are these meetings coming from? Are these all RWS deck meetings?
Yeah, that's an RW. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I want to try and draw one because we were doing this
So what we're saying is these meanings that we're going to attribute to these cards are coming from at least 1909, and some of them from that Italia guy before that, some from the mid-1700s. So we're talking about 16th century stuff that these meanings are supposedly coming
Now I
from.
will say that I don't believe in this stuff, but I did keep pulling the same card, and I'm going to draw right now. Tonya has shuffled the deck, and I'm going to pull a card, and if it happens to be that same freaking card, I kept getting every time. Oh no, I got the devil. Hey everyone, look! I got the devil.
Oh yeah, that
What
was
is the devil?
predictable.
I got the devil. So this wasn't wow. So let me describe the
Well,
devil
you are
card real
sitting
quick.
in a throne, just
I
like
am.
the devil, isn't that?
I do have a throne. It is. It actually looks like me. I sit in a throne chair when we do this. So the devil. I'll describe this card real quick. It's first of all, he's waving, but he's not only waving. He's doing the Vulcan wave. He's got his two fingers split.
Has he got the
He's
Vulcan
casting a
thing going
spell on you. Like
He's
a
like
wizard.
nanu nanu, and he doesn't look. He looks a little confused. He's got hairy legs. He's got talons.
It's very similar to Baphomet.
So he's
He's-
not going out anytime.
He's
soon.
got wings. He's got horns. He's got like gremlin ears. He's got ears like almost like Yoda ears a little bit.
We're gonna have to post pictures of both these cards on.
Suffer
Yeah.
you will.
and then there's this is weird. Okay, so there's a guy and a girl attached to chains that is attached to the thing that he's standing on. And the guy and the girl, they have fire red hair and they have horns. It looks like their hair is actually fire, and they're naked. But here's the interesting part. So the guy has a tail, and what grows out of the tail looks like fire. So he has a fire tail, which is kind of cool. The girl has a tail, but it's a grapevine. There's there's grapes on it. That's her tail. What a terrible tail that would be.
Yeah, that's odd.
But if you ever need a snack, you just have
Would you?
one.
How gross would it be? Like I don't know. I guess it's like chewing your nails. You're just like, are you eating your tail again? Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to.
I mean, are they there for like easy access for the devil? One of them's just like, hey, you're a jerk. I'm going to set you on fire, but I'm hungry.
Maybe he likes roasted grapes.
And the guy in this has a very unfortunate penis. And the guy has his hand out, probably asking for grapes. And the girl's just like ignoring it. The girl's like, yeah, I don't, whatever. So the guy's begging for it. He's got a naked girl he's in front of him going like, hey, come on. Give me some of your grape tail. and
Now, what's eating Gilbert Grape?
there we go. Oh. That's it. So what's the devil mean? All right, can we get a definition from someone?
What does it look like? Is that what you're going to get out of that? Can we get Tanya's description?
Well,
I'm
here,
just
if
looking
somebody
at the-
else wants to look at
Yeah,
the
here.
card.
You want to look at what does that card say to you? Because I looked at the
Oh,
last one.
Just by
Just
looking
by
at
the
it.
looking
but
at the
I've already
card.
read the description. I
Oh,
feel
yeah, but
I
just take a
feel
look.
tainted
Just take a
because
look.
I know what it means. All right.
These
Well,
cards
you
are
feel
tainted.
tainted.
Well-
That's interesting. I mean, the whole card is about animalistic like impulses and lust and dealing with parts of yourself that you try to stay hidden, addiction.
It's very, I mean, to me, visually, it's very much about kind of entrapment.
Well, right. Everyone's got some addiction
Vice?
that they try to. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I like grapes a lot too. So
Here's
don't
what I
know.
just read about the meaning.
Sorry, the
for
grapes
being
of
an
wrath.
idiot. It says it
Ooh.
represents being seduced by
I
the
feel
material world and and physical pleasure. Also also living in fear, domination, and bondage. Being caged by an overabundance of luxury. I am sitting in a throne chair, so that actually makes sense.
This is a
And you guys are in my
luxurious
part.
place.
You guys think I'm rich because of this little tiny old apartment I'm in.
We're way up on the 5th floor, everybody.
Yeah, I know. But listen, I am super rich. I just like the taste of top ramen. And
It's the
it
spices.
says it is.
It'll preserve
and
you,
an
too. You'll live
overabundance of
forever.
He
and
puts
it should
tons
be
of
used.
saffron in his ramen.
There's nothing wrong. No. So, should be used in personal and business matters. So if it's upright, temptation, unhealthy relationships, enslavement, materialism, bondage, fear, being
You
trapped.
got the bondage right on the nose.
Reverse card, freedom from restraints.
Right on the go.
Breaking from addiction and divorce. Well, if I was married, I'd be concerned. And if I was married, actually, I'd be like, yeah, I'm getting divorced. I don't know. No, you married people are fine. All right, so anyway,
We're going to edit that too.
no, I don't know. Maybe not. The next card is the Tower. I don't know what that means. The ruling planet is Saturn, and the
What?
element is Earth.
Are you just reading another card?
No. It just says no.
I think
no,
it was just
I'm telling
saying when it says the next card, it's in the.
Oh, if it
How
has a
it's li- how
progression
it's
of
listed,
cards
yeah.
after what comes after the devil if you lay him down.
Okay, so shuffle once, and then I want the 9th card from the top.
you. Ooh, wow.
I'm too lazy to walk over.
So you said something about you're supposed to use that in your social and work situations. You're supposed to carry the devil card around with you and like pass it off. This is my business card.
Well, Tonya does work with somebody who reads a card every day, right?
I got the 9.
Yeah,
the
she
9 of wands.
The 9th card was the 9.
The 9 of wands. That is a ton of wands.
It's a very big
Wands.
wand.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Very big
Also,
wand.
just to note, for those listening earlier about what we were eating, I made kebabs because they could represent either the wands or the swords.
And what position did you put them in?
And I made 5 of them, and they were in the shape of a pentacle.
And you put our Bloody Marys in what?
Cups!
Boom chakalaka! Did you get that? Eat, drink, can be scary. Nailed it.
Okay, 9 of wands.
Well, that
did
guy-
you pull
Tell
it,
me. No, go ahead.
Did you
tell
pull
me.
it
Yeah.
upright? Or...
Yes, it was upright.
All right.
So that guy's got looks like a bunch of bamboo shoots of varying lengths behind him. He's holding one, but he's looking pretty cynically at one that's much longer than the one he's holding. They all have weird heads on the top of
See,
them.
that's
so
what he
maybe,
noticed.
yeah, like maybe he's really just upset about something.
He noticed inadequacy of wands.
Of wands, yeah.
His wand is less.
He's got wand envy.
That's never happened to me before, I swear. It's
You look at all of them with just love.
Other than that, he's got like Peter Pan tights on. I don't know. He's got a wrap around his head like maybe he's been injured. This is an odd card.
It is an odd
It
card.
doesn't really say much to me except for inadequacy. And that maybe he can't go behind, like he's forced to go ahead because he's completely walled off.
Can I
behind him.
see him real quick?
Yeah, here.
Wait, just turn your. Oh, I remember this. Oh, wait, that's not the one I got. I thought I got this card before because I had one that I read into. Okay, so this one. Oh no, this is the one. Remember, I talked about this one. You know, when I looked at this,
Mr. I never get inadequacy.
No. I don't. But listen, this is what this card reminded me of. This is one of the. By the way, this is like the first card I ever got. This is the first card I ever got when I played this, and this is what I took it as.
When I played
So the
this.
guy is wearing. It looks like he has a bandage on his head.
Yeah, he's injured.
So he's injured, and he looks like he's like, come at me, brah. Like, you do this again, I've had it. I'm done. I pulled one of these wands off of here, and I'm gonna beat the crap out of you if you come here again. That's what
Yeah.
I took this as a, like, I ain't gonna take it no more.
See, I look at it as he's faced all these trials and tribulations, and he's got one left, and he's finally sees it as more of a pathway rather than an obstacle.
That doesn't look like accomplishment. That guy's totally throwing shade.
Well, that's what I'm
No,
saying.
he's like-
done with it. He's
I
surpassed
stand
it.
it, I stand, I can't stand no more.
And he's like, no, I'm just gonna go kick some ass.
There you go. What's it mean?
It wasn't really Popeye. The part of Popeye was played by anyway.
The 9 of Wands tarot card is one that symbolizes great hope even when one is faced by many problems that threaten to make them lose their balance.
Yes, just like I said.
The 9 of Wands symbolizes one's life, which has undergone too many trials, but through their determination and will, they were able to overcome them. These one battles are symbolized by the 8 upwards wands. However, there is still one more trial that the person may face. This can be one major trial or challenge that they are supposed to face for them that they are supposed to face for them to reach their goals or to be successful in their quest. The card is a sign of hope and encouragement that you should face your trials with courage so that you may attain success. The 9 of Wands may also mean that the person has been betrayed and has thus become mistrustful towards others. This may be because of
The
something
shade.
that has happened to them a number of times and might be the first glance seem hopeless. But there is also hope and courage here, and the belief is that this outlook is about to change. Someone or something may come into their life that will change their whole view of their past struggles. It encourages one to take that risky move because they may be surprised.
You just give the whole storyline to Rocky. That's basically like everything right there. Just based on this card.
Yeah.
He's there going, Adrian.
Adrian. Yeah. Okay, so Tom, you're the only one that does not grab a card.
Oh, okay.
So there we
Listen,
go.
I want the bottom card. Whatever's right there on the
Oh,
bottom.
wow. He's like
He's,
living on the edge.
I'm
All
that
right.
kind of guy.
I don't know which way you want to face it, so...
Oh, that's a good point. I'm going to do this. Oh, so I've got the 3 of wands.
Much smaller wands, I'll
Yeah.
point out.
Hey, these wands
They're a little
are
bent.
very nearly to the top of the card, everybody. This guy looks totally content with his wand.
That's
All right,
why he's
describe the
showing you his
card.
back.
Describe the card to us.
Me? Okay, so this guy is in like a biblical robe. It's red. He's got some kind of wreath or crown on his head. He's holding one of the staffs that's buried in the ground. There are 2 kind of behind him. He's looking out on this, I don't know, just open expanse of land toward a mountain range in the end. I don't know. There's not. Maybe he's. hopeful. He's leaving something behind. He's holding on to something before he can go. There's one more wand he's forgotten about. The big one.
Well, here's what I see. He's holding on to one wand, but he's got two other ones behind him. But if you look in the foreground, there's like a vast area for him to explore.
Right.
Right? So to me, it's like
he's not leaving.
No, to me, it's like he's got opportunity in front of him, and he's got all these choices that he could make. He just needs to get his stuff taken care of, like his student loans or something.
That's it.
Are you saying something?
So it's kind of funny that you will also recognize this card because the very first reading I did for him was the last card and this card.
Wow, you have a lot of wand problems.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. I know this card. Sorry, I had to go get the card in front.
So tell me,
I know
tell
what
us
this
what
card
this
means
means for you.
So the card itself, I actually had a lot of... So this is a king looking over his... and correct me if I'm wrong.
That's like
This is your interpretation.
It's a king... Well, no, you told me what it is. It's a king watching his... That's his fortune. Because that's water. Those are boats. Those are boats.
So that's like
is that water?
Those are boats. Yeah, that's water. He's
that's
looking
like
out.
Mufasa saying like, "All this could be yours."
That's it.
Everything the light touches.
Stay away from the Bone Kingdom.
So...
Whatever that is.
So as he's standing there, he's watching, and I took it as he's watching his fortune go away. He's like, "Oh, suck! There goes a boat with all my gold on it."
I missed it.
Yeah, literally, my ship has sailed, and I'm not on it. So that's, but and Tonya's going to tell us what this one really means. I think I'm really close, but I took it as there's a guy. He's dressed really nice. When I found out that was his fortune in these boats, I took it as they were going away, and he's just kind of staring there, going, "Fuck." That's what I took it as. And maybe that's because, I don't know.
Just so
I got that too. Like he's staying there and he's not leaving in front.
guys
He
are
looks
both
deflated.
so,
because he
like-
looks so deflated. He's
Pessimistic?
not standing there with excitement. Have you seen
How
when-
can you tell? You can't. You're
like-
looking at the back of his head.
He's like, the stance. He's like, the phone book is here. The phone book's here. He's like, gets all excited. This guy's like,
The phone book?
well, if it's from the movie The Jerk.
Oh, right.
The
But
phone
also,
book is
I
here.
feel like this is very telling because you see what you feel.
Exactly. So you are feeling like it sucks.
Well, that's the whole point about
I'm
these
not saying
cards being
that
esoteric. So are you supposed to go on strictly what they tell you it's supposed to go on? Or are you
No.
supposed to read them
No,
versus what
so
they mean for
One
you?
one
of
of
the
the things
biggest
that
things is-
I read about is it's not just what the cards mean. And like to each person, each reading is personal. And it's not just the symbolism behind the cards. It's sometimes just what you literally just see in
Yeah,
them.
it's the imagery of the card and how they relate to everything else.
So you really don't want to get into tarot cards if you're OCD, I bet. Because you just go, like,
Which
no,
it
I
should
don't like
be
that one.
CDO,
I'm going to do
'cause
another one.
alphabetical
Nope,
order.
let's do another one.
Well, and that's why everything tends to vary too. Like, if Bill was given someone a tarot reading, everything would be horrible.
Oh, that's not true.
I'm sitting on my throne watching someone pirate my ships, and they're throwing trash at me as I dress like a fortune cookie for
Bill's going to
Halloween.
flip them over and be like, your cat's going to die. Well, you don't have a cat? This one
Oh.
says you're going to buy a cat. This one says your cat's going to die.
Well, your cat there eventually is going to die.
Yeah,
I mean,
so it's
yeah.
you're
that's
you
gonna,
don't
you want
even have a
to
cat?
predict the future? Everybody's going to die. Everything on this planet will die. I just predicted the future, and it might not be from a culling. We could have one of those. This could just be normal stuff. Or, by the way, one of us could die tonight. I'm not predicting that.
So on that, let me tell you the meaning of the Three of Wands.
And by the way, whoever
Mr.
dies,
Pessimist.
whoever dies first has to come back.
for the seance.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk to you in the seance next week.
Whoever dies first has to come back and go, "Hey, I'm a ghost." Which, by the way, I have a great joke. I'm going to end this on a joke.
Well, hold on, let her read the
I'm
card.
not
first.
going to do that. But
Oh, okay.
Go.
Okay. So the meaning of the Three of Wands hints that you are planning or going to plan for the future with more conviction. This could mean that everything around your plans is going smoothly as you've taken the time to plan your future and are taking steps to turn plans into action. It hints that you are perhaps creating a stable foundation for yourself. Symbolism within the Three of Wands is that opportunities that can take place to widen your horizons may in many areas. It's also a warning to keep your mind open as better opportunities could open up to you. As you take steps towards achieving what you set out to do, you are also becoming more aware of opportunities that are coming your way, and this could take you out of your comfort zone. This pushes you to sometimes embrace change and start thinking in the long term. The Three of Wands can show that you are in control and have a strong position, just like the character that overlooks and stands strong, not like a weakling, like some people think. The Three of Wands is one of the main cards of foresight and vision.
There you
The
go.
last Three of Wands is that of travel in search of what you are seeking. There is a sense of leaving home, a voyage that must be undertaken. Great things do not happen to those that simply wait for them. You must expand. For most readings, this shows that you may travel to a new land over the water and that you may find an opportunity during your travels. So a lot more positive and hopeful than you guys thought it was.
So I've seen that one a lot with jobs and trying to leave something that you don't want to be in to find something better suited for you.
So that's Homer at the beginning of the Odyssey card.
Yes. Okay, so what's your joke?
So, well, I mean, I'll end it. I think we've. Anything else we want to talk about tarot cards? I mean, I think we.
Oh, the fortune cookie.
Oh, wait. Okay, so let's hold on. We're gonna do a fortune cookie.
Yeah, we forgot. We had some fried rice along with our kebabs.
Yes.
And
Okay,
just for the
so-
fortune cookies.
So, Tonya, ladies first. Go ahead and read your fortune cookie.
Be open to new opportunities in business. Panda Express. That's what it says.
Brought to you by Panda Express. All right, Ryan. Sorry, I'm chewing in the mic.
Mine says three of wands. No, it says you have a vibrant personality.
Oh, these things are broken.
They are. I'm gonna open it.
Oh, you got
He
Tom's.
needs a new one.
You got Tom's.
I'm opening it.
This must be Ryan's.
All right.
hand.
Okay, what is that one?
Oh, it's stuck in the cookie. That's what it... Okay, so an admirer is
That happens
concealing
a lot.
affection for you. You can come out and just tell me, everybody. I know you love me. I
Wow.
love me.
This one is horrible.
You can't just open up
what is
another
it?
one.
What
You've
is
got to
it?
wait
What
at
is
least
it?
15 minutes.
I have never heard a negative
Or
fortune
you'll get crumbs.
out of a fortune cookie. Holy crap.
Does it give you a negative fortune?
Don't say
Yes.
shit.
It's
What do you
because
want
I
to say?
opened 3 in a row.
Oh,
Dude.
What's it say?
it's like
It says happily ever after doesn't exist.
That's
Whoa.
all it says.
Whoa,
That's
don't-
harsh.
You need to take a picture of that. We'll put that on the
Actually.
Facebook page.
Oh wait, it says does exist.
Oh,
I swear to God, it said doesn't first.
Mr. I
Wow.
You
Yeah.
guys see everything as so pessimistic and
Exactly.
negative.
Hey,
this one says.
that cookie was Freudian.
This one says you're gonna die tomorrow. Oh no, it says drink more Ovaltine. Sorry, I got that one wrong.
So my favorite fortune cookie of all time was the person to the left pays for the ticket.
Ooh, I like that.
I got one that said aliens will soon be visiting you.
What?
Yeah.
In bed. That's my fortune cookie thing.
I did get one that said fly American Airlines. It was like that was it. That's all it said. Fly
Are you-
American Airlines. I was so pissed.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Lucky number is 6, 7.
No, it just said fly American Airlines. Like somebody thought that was a good idea.
So
Well, I gotta tell you.
what is your current fortune
All
say?
right, my fortune says a wish will be granted after a long delay.
How long?
I don't know.
Like if you wish for...
I don't understand space.
Here's a
and
good
time.
question. Are we going to take these fortunes and live our now life in the next few hours or days with these into consideration?
Well, I
Like a
have
tarot
a couple
card.
wishes. I know. I can think of about 7 wishes that I've been like, come on, baby. So if one of those happens, then I'll know.
Which one have you been waiting for the longest? Because that would make sense. If I've been waiting for one for a really long time, I'd want that one to come true quicker.
Let's see.
He's finally getting that BB gun he wanted when he was 8.
The Red Rider BB gun. You'll shoot your eye out.
I really
Bill.
did, though. I really had that. I had the BB gun. You know what? The one thing I never got when I was really upset? I had like every Star Wars toy ever, but I never got the Millennium Falcon. I never got it. I never
I
got
know
the
what I'm
Millennium
getting for
Falcon.
Christmas.
Yeah, well, I just never got a Millennium Falcon. So
Chewbacca.
yeah, that would be awesome. So anyway, that's the wish. That's the wish I wanted for a long, long time. So with that, so that was it. That was our good talk of
I want to hear the
tarot
joke.
cards. I'm gonna do the joke right now. Okay,
All right.
here we go.
Fuck.
So this has to do with. Let me adjust my mic real quick. So sorry. Hold on.
All right, I got to prepare.
I was gonna hold it.
for
I'm
this
gonna
joke.
hold it.
I
He's
got no
getting into
respect, everybody.
stand-up
No
mode. He
respect.
has to hold.
I do. I'm gonna have to hold my mic because I'm gonna stand up right now. All right. So a long time ago, at the bottom of the ocean, there was 2 friends, and their names were Sam Clam and Sid Squid. Sorry, Sam Clam and Sid Squid. And shh, don't. You're gonna speak. I can already tell right now. Ryan was gonna say something. Sam Clam and Sid Squid were best friends, and they both lived under the sea. And they knew at one time. Put your mic down. God damn it. And they knew that one day one of them was going to die, and they'd be really, really sad. And they talked about it for a long time, and one of them, they made this deal. They said, hey, listen, here's what we're going to do. The first one that dies 1 year later, the other one throws a party. And if there's an afterlife, you come down and visit, and then we'll know there's an afterlife. They said, great. Shake hands, hug, go about their lives. 3 years later, Sid Squid dies. And he goes up to heaven. He's greeted by St. Peter, and he says, hey, what's going on? He's like, hey, what's going on? He says, come on inside. So he goes inside, goes into heaven. 1 year later, Sid Squid says, hey, oh my God, it's been a year. I got to go down and go to this party that they're having for me. And he goes to St. Peter and he says, hey, I got to go down. My friend's having a party. And he says, it doesn't work like that. You don't get to go down. He says, you understand, I made a pact. I have to go down. I have to go down and see Sam Clam. And he's like, I'm sorry, Sid Squid, there's no way you're going to do this. And he says, listen, just give me this one. I'll just go down for a couple hours. I'll just say hi to everybody, and I'll come back. And St. Peter says, okay, I can get in a lot of trouble for this. I'm going to let you do it. Go down there. If you're not back by midnight, I'm not letting you back in. You're screwed. He says, oh, thank you. Sid Squid grabs all his stuff, heads down, looks for Sam Clam, finds out Sam Clam took the money that he got for when Sid Squid died, and he started a disco. And he walks in, and there's a big banner that says, welcome back, Sam Clam. And he walks in there and is like, oh my God, he's here, woo! And everybody starts having this massive party. It's this great, amazing party. They're having the best party ever. They're partying. They're dancing. They're doing drugs. They're drinking. They're making out with chicks. And all of a sudden, Sid Squid looks at his watch, and it's 1:30. And he says, oh my God, I'm late. Oh, screw! I gotta go. So he quickly says goodbye to everybody, and he grabs like his harp and his wings and his halo, and he flies out the door, and he runs to the gate, and the gate's locked. And he starts pounding the doors hard as he can. And St. Peter comes in and he says, "What's going on? Like, I can't let you in." He says, "Please, I'm begging you. You got to let me in." And he says, "No, like you look terrible. Look at you. You're late, and you look horrible. Like, look at your wings. Your wings are all sticky and covered in booze, and your halo, it's all bent. It's just all like, it's gross. And your harp, where's your harp?" And Sid Squid looks around and goes, "Oh man, I left my harp in Sam Clam's disco."
I left my heart in Sam Clam's disco.
I left my harp.
I left my harp in Sam Clam's disco.
Okay. Listen, I'm going to start from the beginning of the joke. So you can...
Maybe. Wait, hold on.
What were you going to say? You were going to say something right away.
I was going to say this sounds fishy.
Oh, stealing my thunder. And with that, well, thank you for listening to. Hey, we didn't. We didn't introduce ourselves. Anybody still listening? Just remember,
it's the same four people as usual.
It's Bill, Tonya, Tom, and Ryan, and be sure to subscribe, and be sure to tell everybody else to listen. And if you got things that you want to say to us, say it on the Facebook page. If you have ideas for a program or an idea, say it. And if you just want to tell us how great we are, how much we suck, I don't know. Anything you want to do. Anything else? Anybody got anything?
Have a good night.
All right, good night, everyone.
Bye.
Tonya, say good night.
Bye. Good night.